Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface. Welcome back to this Motorsport Manager career project Audi, back with our Audi Formula 1 team. We do have the Belgian Grand Prix and then the equivalent of Spa coming up today. If we just have a quick look, practice looks alright. Got a bit of rain in qualifying, which I do hate in this game because the AI doesn't know how to handle the rain in qualifying. Hopefully it's not going to throw things into too much of a disarray with the AI. But it sometimes does, might make for an interesting race if that happens. We'll just head over to the calendar. Last time out in Guildford, Vettel had a pretty decent race. 5th overall for him. It was a 1-2 for the Silver Arrows. Lewis and Max 1-2 on the podium. Has put Mercedes at the front in the Constructors' battles. Charles Leclerc is still 31 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen a little bit further behind than that. Meanwhile, we'll just head on over to what the car is looking at like at the moment. We have put a new rear wing on the car, and we've pretty much gone from being the back of the grid with the rear wing to having the best part with the rear wing. It was a good part. I think it added maybe 40 points, 50 points all told after increasing the performance of it as well. We've made a massive jump on there because looking back over my notes, the AI hasn't made any upgrades to the rear wing yet at all. No team has added a new rear wing. They seem to concentrate a lot on the gearbox and suspensions, which I'm guessing the AI thinks is the more important part in this game. The rear wing doesn't have a massive effect in this game, but we do have a pretty solid rear wing now. We'll just go over what the other cars have done. Meanwhile, we've got engine upgrades going into all of the Mercedes cars apart from the Works team. Mercedes, Williams, McLaren and Aston Martin have all finally taken the Spec 2 engine from Mercedes, so they will see an increased power output, whereas Alfa and Prema have taken new engines from Ferrari. So if we just head over and look at the engines, Ferrari, Prema, who their chassis is a little bit more based around the Ferrari, so that is why their engine rating is a bit higher than the Alfa. Alfa not quite able to get the same performance out of the engine as the Works team and the feeder Prema team. Meanwhile, we'll see Mercedes all the way down in 7th, which is why the Mercedes engines are pretty much at the back of the pack, and the Honda cars are down there as well. Red Bull, Honda struggling a little bit with the engine. I think they've introduced a Spec 2 engine at some point. If I look back through my notes, I think they've upgraded the engine, but it was pretty early on. I can't actually see it in my notes. It was before race 4, so they haven't done any work on the engine for quite a while. No, it's actually further back than that. Race 2. Yeah, race 2 for Honda. They haven't upgraded that engine. It wasn't a massive upgrade, so I'm guessing maybe Red Bull haven't made any changes to their car this time around. No, I'm guessing Red Bull, Honda are working on a new engine at the moment. Meanwhile, Williams have got a new gearbox. Aston Martin and Alfa Romeos both have new suspensions. Other than that, not many upgrades going into the car. I'm guessing everyone's working on something quite big, whereas we're working on our suspension once again, which is the only place where we're behind, below average. So hopefully we can go ahead and get that done. I think it's going to be ready for the next race, is it? Yes, Milan, which is going to be a rainy race. Should be done in time for Milan. Might not have the time to get the full improvements out of it, but hopefully we can go ahead and get that done at some point. Then engine, front wing, gearbox, engine, front wing, gearbox, all about there. Should be a good race for us here in Ardennes. Meanwhile, if we just take a quick look here, we're still not controlling Sebastian Vettel. He still does have the renewed passion, which goes on for 16 weeks, but he still has the gone rogue trait for 4 weeks, which means we cannot control him during the race. Stoffel Van Dorn, meanwhile, he's been pretty solid this season. He's got a second, a little bit disappointing in the last one, 14th in Britain. He just have the racer stat for the race, which makes him pretty much all the way there during the race, so pretty good driver during the race. He does have the refocus stat, which gives him a +1 across every start. At the moment it is expiring in 6 weeks, so it is going to run out before the Russia race, second Russia race of the season. We do have 2 races in Russia, so it is going to run out by the time we get to the Black Sea for the second one. So yeah, he's going to be a little bit compromised heading into the final part of the season. Might start thinking about looking for a new driver if he doesn't keep performing, because we had Pascal Verlaine in the car in the early going. Didn't perform at all, unfortunately for him. Anyway, we're going to jump into the race. It is 38 laps, so we don't really need many of the medium tyre. We might take an extra. We usually go 744, but we'll take an extra super soft Never have any issues with the tyre. Both drivers have the same car at the moment. Yeah, so we'll jump into practice, which you don't get to see, and we'll be back in a second for qualifying. So we're back for qualifying. It was a pretty good practice session. I say pretty good. Sebastian Vettel was actually quickest during practice, so maybe our car suits this track pretty well. Hoping for a good qualifying session here. Pretty much there with all the setups. Pretty happy with that. Totally there with Stoffel van Dorn's car. It looks like the rain is going to ease off, so the front of the order should be nice and normal after qualifying. Early going, it is going to be wet, so we will do an early qualifying run on the Inters, just because the AI will be doing that, so we'll get out on the Inters. It's not going to mean much come the end of the session. I'm guessing some of the middle order cars are going to do a run around the middle of the session. They might do 2 runs on the Inters, but it is quite a long lap here at Spa Ardennes in this game. Calling it Spa, we might as well do, because the track is pretty similar to the Spa track in real life. And Vettel going quickest, although he's quickly outclassed by Fernando Alonso in the Red Bull in the rain. So where we're going to be after the Inters, obviously this is not going to be a good barometer of where everyone's going to be after this. We've got a couple of cars out on super softs, Albon, Hamilton, Sainz in the Red Bull, Mercedes and McLaren's respectively. As you can tell, look, it's such a long lap here. That's why he's at 38 lap race here. I think it's a 152. It's one of the longest tracks in the game. So are we seeing anyone come out? No, everyone's going out on dry tyres, which is good. So we're going to see a nice normal grid here. We've got cars coming out as well. With this Ardennes track, I think Ardennes is one of the ones where we do have a shorter pit stop, because we cut out so much of the track here. Although it is a really long pit stop, I don't think it's one of the street tracks where you have like a sub 10-second pit stop. The time you're in the pits or the time you lose during the race. I don't think it's here. Even though we cut out a lot of the track, it is still a long way through the pits. And we're going to get Vettel out here as well for his flying lap on the dry tyres. So hopefully we're going to have a nice, good qualifying session. It's currently Esteban Ocon on pole position. Obviously everyone's laps at the moment are counted. From their Inter run, Perez goes quickest so far in the Haas. The Renault powered Haas, having moved away from Ferrari. Mick Schumacher is currently quickest in that Prema. Quite an engine in that Prema now. They've got pretty much the same engine as Ferrari. Mick currently in second place. Vettel goes third. Third for Vettel, and that is overall. Third overall. The 2 Ferraris quickest here. Obviously, with so many long straights and sweeping straights, the engine is a big factor here, and that is why Ferrari have dominated qualifying. Schumacher 5th place in that Prema, putting himself in contention for that Ferrari seat if he can continue and have a good race here for Prema. Absolutely great qualifying session. I'm not going to look at the actual qualifying, the way the grid has turned out. I know you probably have done. I want to look at it going down the grid, and we've got rain for the race. Rain for the race. Full rain at around about lap 6. So it's quite a period, and then the rain's going to ease off, maybe end or rain to the end of the race. We don't have any running on Inters. When could the rain be ending? Around about lap 19. So we might as well take the super soft boost. Or should we take this 50% faster? We're only 1.7. It's only saving like 7/10. Yeah, so we might as well take the super soft bonus. That might give us more if the rain does stop around about lap 22. We can get onto a pair of super softs to finish the race. We cannot control Sebastian at the moment, but we can control Stoffel. So let's get into the race here. It's going to be a wet race. Charles Leclerc, Nico Hulkenberg, the prancing horses on the front row of the grid. Ferrari getting their performance back here after having a disappointing few races. Sebastian Vettel, 3rd. One of our best qualifying performances this season. Alexander Albon is in the Red Bull in 4th. Mick Schumacher in that Prema 5th. Danny Rick 6th in the Renault. Alonso 7th in the Red Bull, followed by Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. And then Max Verstappen in the 2nd Mercedes. 9th place Mercedes. Not having the best qualifying session here. Ocon is 10th in that 2nd Renault. Perez 11th in the Haas. A good qualifying session for them. Obviously, they've been a little bit disappointed of late. Have Haas scored points this year? I think they have. I think Newgarden scored points. Vips is 12th in that AlphaTauri. with the Honda engine. Stoffel Van Dorn 13th for Audi, Sainz, McLaren 14th, and then Norris 15th. After winning that race in the early going, Norris winning with McLaren, they've been off form recently. Do have a new Mercedes power unit, but not making that much of a difference, it seems. 16th for George Russell in the Aston Martin, 17th for Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa. Schwartzman is 18th in the Prema, Latifi 19th, Newgarden 20th in the Haas, Magnussen is 21st, 22nd for Pierre Gasly, and then bringing up the rear of the grid, it's an Alfa and an Aston Martin with Giovinazzi and Stroll respectively. So hopefully we can go ahead and get a good start here. The rain is quite heavy, it's going to ease off but then get really heavy. And off we go. A nice start. It looks like we've got the jump on Nico Hulkenberg into the first corner. Looks like that has happened. Van Dorn though. What has happened to Van Dorn? All the way to 23rd. He's run wide as Van Dorn. And now he's left himself vulnerable to Lance Stroll as well. Meanwhile, Vettel, we can't control him here. He's going all out. We're going to have to do that with Van Dorn. Hopefully we don't push him too much that he crashes. But 24th. And we've got to control Van Dorn through this race because we can't control Vettel, sir. But Vettel running second here is Albon that's got up into third. Hulkenberg has had a disastrous start, finds himself down in 6th, although he's managed to pick a place back up as Hulkenberg to get himself back up into 6th place. But Mick Schumacher has managed to hold on here. 5th place for him, that is a great start. Verstappen meanwhile has fallen down to 13th, whereas Hamilton has moved up a tiny bit. The two McLarens have had a really good start, 9th and 10th. I can't remember the last time this got points. Sainz has got up into the points. Not many points though recently for them, whereas Vettel is currently just defending from Alexander Albon. We're falling behind. Look at that, this Ferrari. So quick on this track. He got a 153 off that first lap. 1.7's quicker. And Van Dorn is battling away at the back. We can just absolutely go through these inters because we're going to be getting off them pretty soon once the total wet weather comes. The wet tyre starts working at around about 75% track wetness. So as soon as we hit about lap 5 or 6, we might get in early. See if we can get a little bit of a jump with Van Dorn. I think that is the only way we're going to be able to move Van Dorn back up the order here. We do have a powerful engine, but we're there with a Ferrari. And Ocon has hit 14th. That is Nicholas Latifi. A Renault and a Williams coming together. It looks like Ocon's come off worse. And the rain is stopping here. Very briefly, the rain is going to stop. And then start to get really heavy as we move on in this race. Van Dorn currently 21st place. Not the best start from him as Verstappen moved back up. He has. So this is not a track for Mercedes. Obviously their power unit not the strongest. The Mercedes power unit only ranked above the Honda power unit. Ranked below the Ferrari, our Audi unit and the Renault unit as well. So that's possibly why Mercedes are struggling a little bit more in this race. Meanwhile, Hulkenberg, 7th now. He's just been passed by Lewis Hamilton. But Leclerc is getting away from us and we're getting away from Albon as well. So Vettel doing a good job here. These tyres are overheating now. We'll just cool them down very briefly. We might as well just go into recovery for a little bit with Van Dorn. I know we're battling away with Kevin Magnussen here, but we do want to make sure we can get the speed out of this tyre before we head into the pits. Just cool it down a tiny little bit and then we'll get going again. Although Stoffel locks up. We've got cars on the wets already. It's a little bit too early. I don't know what. Well, I'm guessing, yeah, because that's Ocon got in. Was there another collision out on track as well? Ocon's got him coming for a pit stop. So we're going to be able to use them as a good barometer, but I do want to go a little bit earlier with Van Dorn. See if we can pick up, because we're effectively running in last place at the moment. Although Ocon is behind us, because we're the only with a car at the back of the grid on the inters. Leclerc is in early. Leclerc is in early. Is everyone going to jump in this lap? Oh, we can't actually order to push, can we? Is everyone coming in this lap? It's not at the point. It's not at the point for these tyres. Yeah, they're coming in, but we're not at the point for these tyres just yet. There's going to be a little bit of time lost going on to these wets. It might get there before the end of the lap. I'm thinking it's a little bit early. It's still not. The rain is heavy, but it's still not at the effective wetness on track. And we're going to get Van Dorn in after this lap now. It's so dark at the moment, this heavy rainstorm. Oh, it's going to get even wetter as well, isn't it? It's going to go from wets to inters back to wets. It doesn't look like we've got... And thunder as well. Thunder. I hope you can actually see this on the video, because YouTube is being a little bit stingy with their codecs at the moment. It's not giving me the highest codec. So things do still look a little bit blurry. Everything's good on my end. It's just YouTube's been a little bit stingy with the codecs at the moment, which you can understand with everything that's going on. A lot more people are using the internet. We get back out into 17th with Stoffel Van Dorn. These wets can do about 20 odd laps, 26, so we do have room to push again. Although you push on these wets, you do have the chance of crashing out spectacularly. Not that we've had many crashes this season. We haven't crashed out at all this season. The AI hasn't. We're currently behind two Haas's. That's Perez and Newgarden in front of us. Vettel, meanwhile, has managed to get back out into second. It seems everyone... We gained a little bit of time. Leclerc went really early onto those wets, but we managed to stay behind him. I don't think we've got much chance of catching the Ferrari. Van Dorn currently battling for 15th place at the moment. We've got past one of the Haas's. That is Valtteri Bottas. I thought that was a Ferrari then in front of us, but it is the Alpha of Valtteri Bottas. It looks like we're going to get him as well down the straight. So we're now behind Newgarden in a Renault powered Haas car. Can we get towards Haas here and overtake? That is Latifi in front, and that is Hamilton as well, as Hamilton had a collision. Something's wrong with Hamilton. I don't know, is anyone else around him? He's come together with Carlos Sainz there. Hamilton losing out here. It doesn't look like it's too much damage to his car. He's not losing time here, but he's going to lose time for the pits if he does decide to pit, or whether he pits later. And it looks like it's Hamilton who is under investigation for that incident. Has he got a drive-through, or is it... Yeah, Hamilton has had a drive-through penalty. Comes back out into 17th place. Does Lewis Hamilton. So Mercedes losing out here, and it looks like they're going to lose out on their championship lead. There we go. Ferrari are going to climb back above them, picking up 33 points at the moment to Mercedes 4. The only points picked up from Max Verstappen, who is currently running in 8th place at the moment. So we're a little bit too hot with these tyres. We'll see if we can cool them down. What's the temperature like? It is pretty cool, so we can run in neutral, and they will cool down. About 5 points. The cars up here are really strong cars though, and where we are at the moment, we might not be able to make it up to Van Dorn to get into the points. Schumacher though, look at that, still running 6th in that Prema. The engine really working for this Prema car at the moment, although we see Schwartzman is all the way down in 21st, not having the best race, not having a good race like his teammate, obviously. The Prema, even though they've got a really good engine, the car is not that good overall, so you would expect them to be running a bit further down the order. But Schumacher having a really good race so far, and we'll just go medium as well for a little bit. Although I say that and we get right on the back of the Haas. So let's go again and push here, see if we can get past Joseph Newgarden here. I think it is in front of us. Yes, it is. And then it's Nicholas Latifi a little bit further up the road. Then we've got an AlphaTauri, and then the question is Alonso for a points finish. I don't even think we're going to be able to get past any of these cars at the moment with the rain the way it is. No, we're dropping off from the Haas under pressure from another Haas of Sergio Perez behind us, as we're on a lap 10. And Vettel, it looks like we've got another podium pretty much locked up here, unless we get a mistake from Vettel. He's got 5 seconds, or 6 seconds one side, 5 seconds back to Alexander Albon in the Red Bull. We've seen before that we can hold off a Red Bull. That Honda engine not up to scratch at the moment, and we've got quite a decent engine, so hopefully Vettel is going to be able to hold on to that second position. I don't think we've got much hope of getting Van Dorn further up the order here. We're trying to cool down some tyres to get back in the optimal range, although we might as well go again at this point, haven't we, because it's going to start to go... Yeah, the rain is going to cool off for a long enough period to get back onto the inters. Currently running 14th. Can we get a jump on any of these cars through the pits as soon as this rain looks like stopping, which it looks like it's going to be this lap? Should we go early this time? I said we were going to go early for the last one, although there we go. Van Dorn gets Newgarden here. Are we going to see anyone start to come into the pits? The rain is about to stop. It looks like everyone is going another lap. We're going to leave Vettel out on track. Yeah, the rain is still Well, the rain stopped, but there is still a lot of water out on track at the moment, and there the rain is starting to go. I know you're going through the tyres, Stoffel, but we'll just set up for a pit stop. We can always cancel it depending on how the rain is going to be. It is going to go after this lap, is it? It's a little bit too early. Is Leclerc thinking about coming in? Leclerc's staying out at the moment. We're going to just do that. I'm going to try respond to Leclerc. Oh, Leclerc is jumping in. Beep. Inters. Inters. Still a little bit wet on track, but the crossover is quite a big section. Just did it in time for Vettel. A lot of cars going through here. That is Albon, who's decided to stay out another lap. Is he going for the jump here? Still a little bit wet, but it's going to cool off this track. It's going to get drier after this lap. So we're out into third at the moment. 10 seconds, 11 seconds to Alexander Albon. He's going a little bit quicker on that wet tyre at the moment. Van Dorn is in. He's done a good pit stop. This Inter is not going to go for really long. Probably about lap 22. So we've only got about 8 laps on this tyre. Albon, though, is pulling away on that wet tyre. And Vettel is in conservation mode at the moment. Yeah, I'm starting to pull that back. So maybe pull that back. Maybe lost about half a second to Alexander Albon, all said and done. Although he's still got to get to the pits as it is. So he is in. We're still going to be in front of him. Albon, his pit stop done. Let's get back with Vettel. Have we still got 5 seconds? Yes, we have. Which is good enough. 6 seconds. So that is good for Sebastian there. Van Dorn, meanwhile, is up into... Have we got past Latifi through the pits? Yes, we have. And that is now just an AlphaTauri in front of us. So we've managed to work back up. We're just going to try cool down for a little bit here as well. Try recover. Although I say that, every time I say that, we get close. Let's see if we can jump the AlphaTauri and then cool down from there. If we can get 10th with Stoffel after that disastrous start, that would be amazing if we can do that. Although we do have to hold off Latifi. Everyone is on equal tyres here. And Latifi is coming strong, Latifi. Possibly a little bit better than us because his tyres are more of an optimal range, and ours are overheating at the moment. With overheating tyres, can we make a pass on Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri here? Speed up, can we do it? Yes, we can. Up into 10th place. Let's leave it in high mode. Let's try cool down. And yeah, Vettel just in a world of his own here at the moment. So we'll just switch back to Van Dorn, who is running 10th. Gasly is under pressure from Latifi, which works out for us. Although I say that again, and then he closes that gap up. So let's just make sure we can stay ahead of these two cars for a moment, and then we'll... There we go. We've opened up more than a second gap. And let's just run down. Albon is currently still in third place. A nice, massive gap back to Daniel Ricciardo, who is running fourth. Schumacher has picked up another place. He's back up into 5th place now. Is Mick Schumacher. Hulkenberg has recovered a little bit up into 6th place. Verstappen has gained a place up into 7th. The Red Bull of Alonso is 8th. I'm guessing a lot of us have moved up because we've had Hamilton come into the pits. He's had a drive-through and then a pit stop. He's running 23rd at the moment. Norris is picking points up for McLaren, which is good to see. And then we've got Van Dorn now up into 10th place. Outside of them, is anyone running out of order other than Hamilton? Everything looks just about right further down the order. That is Alonso in front of us. We're a little bit further back. 5 seconds to Lando Norris is a target now. We're just cooling down. The rain is about to start again. So we're just going to get pushing. We're just going to go for it here with Stoffel. We don't really have anything to lose other than 1 point. We might as well see if we can go ahead and catch Lando in front of us. Lando is doing a 155.7. He was 6/10 quicker than us on the last lap. I don't think anyone's going to come into the pits this lap because the water on track is not very heavy, but the rain is about to get heavy. And we've got another brief thunderstorm, although it didn't say a thunderstorm earlier. But we do have a thunderstorm coming, so is that going to be an even bigger thunderstorm than we had earlier? Meanwhile, we have clawed some of that gap back. Yeah, look at that. About 8/10 quicker. 7 to 8/10. So we might be able to get this in the pits. The rain is going to come. Is it going to come this lap? Is Leclerc thinking about pitting? Leclerc, are you pitting? No, Leclerc's staying out of track. The water is about halfway. It is about this point here. The crossover for the wet. Should we go early? Is the rain going to get heavier over? No, it's another lap until the water on track's heavier. We do have Schumacher jumping. We have not. Yeah, Norris is jumping. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go all out here because Norris has jumped early. See, we think we're about 3.5 seconds back to Norris. So can we get the jump here? Vettel is coming in this lap as well. Van Dorn's coming in. Hopefully, we're just going to push. We're using a lot of fuel to do this. We're going to have to recover. We're going to have to do a lot of recovery. So there's Van Dorn. Where is Norris? Norris is coming. It looks like we've got this. No, that is Norris. I was looking back here at Carlos Sainz. Although we're coming around this corner, we're going to be a lot closer. That is Hulkenberg behind as well. We've closed up that gap to Norris there. We're still going to push for a little bit. Hopefully we can get there. Is the rain going to ease off as well? There's going to be another pit stop as well. Leclerc is still out on track here. Leclerc and Albon still out on track. Do they think... Yeah, they've got to come in at some point. 24.1. I don't think we're going to be able to get this distance down enough. Leclerc's staying out again. Are they going all the way through the rain on Inters? What is happening here? What are Ferrari doing? Meanwhile, I think we should just recover the fuel. I mean, we're so close, but I don't think we're going to be able to make the overtake. I'm saying that in hope that we close that gap up, like usually happens when I say something like that. I'm going to continue pushing the tyres because this heavy rain is not going to last very long. Meanwhile, we're 20. Yeah, we're not going to be able to close this gap up, are we? So these cars that have stayed out on track have possibly made a good decision. Maybe Leclerc's made a good decision because we're not going to be able to close 20 seconds up. Although we do have... Well, we're under the thunderstorm, although it's not as bad as it was earlier. And Van Dorn has closed right up to Hulkenberg here. The Ferrari, have we got the power coming around? Now we've got a couple of long straights. Obviously, we don't have the power of the Ferrari, but can we get a better run? Yes, we know. We know you're running hot. And Vettel, why is he not pushing the fuel though, is the question. We're still quicker. We've gained to about 17 seconds. Oh. Hulkenberg. What's happened? Oh no, has he hit us? No. No, he's hit Norris. He's hit Norris. And he's got a drive-through penalty, so we've moved up with Van Dorn as well. So we're just going to recover here because I think we're going to be able to jump these two cars in the pits. We're going to do a little bit of recovery on the fuel rather than try and overtake them because they're going to have to repair parts in the pits. Vettel, meanwhile, he's got past Albon, which is good to see. We've not lost that place out with him running long. We're now up to 16 seconds, although we're not going to be able to recover that before this rain stops. Hulkenberg doing his drive-through penalty now, so Ferrari losing points. It's going to be a drive-through penalty for Nico Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg through the pits and now back out into 15th. That is a Williams of Kevin Magnussen behind him. Yep. So Van Dorn is up into 9th. Van Dorn, that is Norris in front. Norris does have a problem with part of his car, front wing, rear wing, who knows. But he is going to have to fix that. So should we go now? Should we go now? That is the question. Should we go? Yep, we're losing time now, aren't we? So we're going to get in for the Inters with Vettel. The engine's running a little hot there with Vettel, isn't it? 43%, it's going to make it. But we're going to jump with Van Dorn. We're going to go for the Inters. Because as we see, Vettel... Oh, he was losing time. He's not losing time now. Although it's going to be at the next point. So we're going to get in with Van Dorn. He's running 9th. We're going to get in for the Inters. The first car to swap back onto the Inters, hopefully. That's not going to cost us here. That is Hulkenberg. That's going to come out in front of us. And Van Dorn is out of the pits. We do have a lot of life in this tyre. It can do 26 laps just like the wet tyre. And we're not going to recover as much at the moment. Just switch back to medium. Hopefully we can get Norris here. He does have to come into the pits, and we're in the crossover point as well now. Back on to the Inters. So I'm guessing Norris is going to come into the pits, and Norris is going to have to Norris is going to have to repair. So Norris, is he going to stay in? It doesn't look... Yeah, he has repaired. Not a long pit stop though. But Van Dorn has gone through now into 8th place. A great recovery from him. Vettel, meanwhile, has come out into 3rd because Albon didn't have to pit because he stayed out on the Inter through the heavier rain. Don't think he's got to pit again before the end though. Can we close that gap up to get back to Albon? Who knows? Who knows whether we can do that. We're just going to switch down with Van Dorn here as well. He's got a gap either side of him. I don't think we've got the pace to get to Verstappen on a fresh pair of rubber. So let's just watch Vettel for a while. We'll just let Van Dorn try and recover. See, hopefully we can hold on to that 8th place. We should be able to, since it's a Williams and a McLaren behind us, then an Alfa and a McLaren. It's not like Hulkenberg's running behind us, which is good for us. Although we say that, and it's Alonso in front of us now. But that Red Bull on fresh rubber as well is not something we should be able to close the gap up. 10 seconds to the Red Bull in front though. 9, we're closing the gap up. Obviously, it is Vettel himself. We've made 4 pit stops to Albon's 2, obviously going on to the wet. And then, oh, Leclerc has pitted. Leclerc's pitted for fresh rubber. Obviously, he's going to be able to claw that back. But is Albon going to be doing the same? I'm guessing Albon does have to pit before the end of the race then. So he's going to be, the AI is going to be pushing a little bit more to try to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc. I'm guessing that Inter is going to wear out before the end of the race. Or is it going to hold? A Red Bull going to pull off a victory here? I don't know why Leclerc swapped them. I don't think his tyres were worn. Why did he pit? Mercedes currently back on top here with Hulkenberg out of the points. Mercedes keep their run, keep their place at the top of the constructors. Just in recovery mode at the moment. Van Dorn, 6 seconds either side, so he's still just about the same. We're closing this gap down, although we're not, are we? Still, yeah, we're about 9 seconds back to Esteban Ocon. It's all about whether Ocon does decide to pit at the end of the race. Is Ocon going to pit here? 35%. With 7 laps to go. It doesn't look like it's going to get there. Is the rain coming again? No, it's not. This rain's going to ease off a little bit. It's going to get a little bit lighter. No, just want to recover at the moment. We do have a little bit of room to push with the tyres. See if we can close up to Alonso here a little bit. We're 4.4 seconds behind with Van Dorn, although we're losing time. Is Alonso pushing here? Alonso's pushing. He's got fresher rubber than we have. We just got push mode, because I think even in push mode it should stay about the same. It won't increase too rapidly. It will increase. As it is, 8.8 seconds back to Albon now. His tyres are running out. I don't think he's going to be able to make it, and he's losing time to Ricciardo, is he? 150. No, he's got a little bit of time. He's about 22 seconds there. I'm guessing it is a little bit of a shorter pit stop. Are we going to see Albon pit at some point? Leclerc is having a little bit of trouble on the fresher tyre keeping up with him though. Albon is going round again though. He's going round again. We're just sitting now. Everyone's just sort of sitting, waiting to see if Albon is going to pit. Leclerc has got right onto the back of him here. Hopefully if Leclerc gets past him, then Albon will decide, Red Bull will decide that they've had enough. That 23%, he's going to have to pit. Hopefully we're going to get this second place back. Leclerc's all over him but unable to pass him. He's doing a really good job of defending his Albon, but these tyres may give up on him at some point. I'm guessing he's running low at the moment. Van Dorn, meanwhile, what was he saying? Did he lock up? And we'll just cool down. We've got a little bit of room to push. We're losing pace to the Red Bull. Oh no, the engine's going. Oh no, the engine's going. Look after that engine, Seb. Please. Please. Oh, and Albon is pitting. Albon's coming in this lap. 19, 20. It looks like Albon's lost out on a podium here to his not to that, but to a former Red Bull driver in Daniel Ricciardo. Looks like Renault could pick this up. He's pushing. Is Daniel Ricciardo is pushing because he knows Albon's coming into the pits. So here comes Albon. Where is Daniel Ricciardo? He's a little bit too far back, maybe. Is he? There they go. They're going to pass. He's going to be so close coming here. Looks like Ricciardo's got it. Has he? No. So close. Look at that. Ricciardo comes out just behind. But Vettel is up into second. More importantly for us, 20% this engine is running out. It's just in low mode to try and get this engine through to the end of the race. Van Dorn, meanwhile, still kept on to this 8th place. It worked out a little bit lucky for us. It possibly would have been a 10th place finish. No, it wouldn't have been, because we possibly would have still been behind Hamilton and Hulkenberg and Norris. But thankfully, Hamilton hitting someone worked out for us. Hulkenberg hitting Norris worked out for us. A little bit lucky, you can say. Just keep an eye on this engine. Not much we can do about it other than let Van Dorn run that race. What am I saying, Van Dorn? Letting Vettel run that race for himself. Although it is still here, still Ricciardo not able to keep up with Albon on the used rubber. Albon has kept that podium, it looks like, unless there is a mistake from Albon over the course of the final lap. But as it is, it's Leclerc. He hasn't actually got that far away from us at the end of the race. Only 7 seconds up the road, but yeah, there he goes. Leclerc wins. We get another podium here. Second for Vettel. Albon a little bit further down the road. He will grab third. Ricciardo will grab fourth. Schumacher, absolutely magnificent in that Prema, will grab 5th place here. Verstappen will get 6th. Alonso will get 7th. Then we've got Van Dorn in 8th. It's a little bit further back. Williams with points. Williams. Is that first points of the season for Williams? It is. Latifi scores Williams' first points of the season. That is great for him. We've got Norris in 10th. And then as we move further down the order, Magnussen's just finishing. Vipsy about to finish. And then everyone else gets to finish. Hamilton all the way down in 18th. Hulkenberg all the way down in 21st. Not good races for them. Obviously, collisions with other cars ruined their races. Both had drive-through penalties which pushed them back. Repairs to the car on the next lap. Yeah. I don't think anyone should have rule breaks. I'm taking all the rule breaks off. If the AI is developing parts that are risky, I take the rule break off for them. Obviously, I'm not building any parts that are risky either. We're not following that road, trying to make it as hard as possible. But we are doing pretty good at the moment. That is another 22 points for us. Leclerc picks up the win. So, there we go. I think, is that one of Red Bull's first podiums? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Red Bull finishing. They've been a little bit disappointing this season as well. But as it is, 56 points clear now for Leclerc. Hamilton, a disappointing race, falls back. Max Verstappen picks up a few points. Vettel is up into 5th place in the driver's standing, which is absolutely excellent for us. Stoffel Van Dorn remains in 10th. We are retaining our 4th place. We're ahead of Renault and McLaren, which is where we want to be. Prema up into 7th place with that really good finish for Schumacher. And the top of the order, 3 points between them, between Ferrari and Mercedes. Going to be tight towards the end of the season. And Red Bull a little bit further back than that. I don't think we're going to be able to close up that gap to Red Bull. But you never know. A few more increases if Red Bull follow the wrong development route. That Honda engine is not the best, but I'm guessing they're developing an engine and they're going to come back stronger than we are towards the end of the season. Although we will be developing our own engine. Our spec-free engine towards the end of the season. So you never know. You never know. If we keep performing like this, we came 2nd overall, we might be able to close that gap. It could be a thing. And there, 1.3 million coming out of the bank account as well. And yeah. Oh, it won't look at F2 and F3 because it doesn't make much sense as we keep going over. An interview with Formula E. Simple question, which one of your drivers is better? We'll just say that because I'll keep Vettel happy. It's not going to upset Van Dorn. The car, meanwhile, we're going to have the suspension done. It's going to be another rainy race, it looks like, in Milan as well. It was quite an interesting race this time around. So yeah, we do have Milan coming up next. A shorter race than this one, 37 laps. Is that the shortest race of the season? Not the shortest race, but the shortest in terms of laps. 38 for Ardennes. Have we done a shorter race than that? 34. The Dubai race is the longest track at 4 miles. This one is 3.72. So it's going to work out about the same as this. It's going to be rainy, but not as rainy as this one. So maybe just inters and no swap from inters to wets. But it was an interesting race. I think that's the first time. Well, it's the first time that we've done it on this series. Pretty good race overall. But until next time, a decent race. I will see you down the road. in Italy for the Milan Grand Prix. But until then, I'll see you then. Goodbye.